All right, today we are moving to the last part of 1.7. And we're going to talk about distributing a negative. Steps for distributing a negative. Change subtraction to adding the opposite. So anytime I see subtraction, I change it to adding the opposite. Plus the opposite. I like to say plus a negative, but I want to remind you that it really is the opposite. You're adding the opposite when you change it. Second, we multiply the terms by the outside number. Okay? Multiply the terms by the outside number. So the second step we'll do is multiply the terms by the outside number. And lastly, and this is what I was encouraging you this morning, we change the sign if there's two signs in the middle. So if I have plus a negative in the middle, I change it to subtract. If I have minus a negative in the middle, I change it to add. So the last step is we change the signs if there's two signs in the middle. If they're the same sign, it means add. That's the minus a negative. And if they're different signs, we subtract. All right, this first example. This negative times x minus 3. This is really a negative 1, right? That little invisible 1 is just hanging out there. So I'm really going negative 1. There's a 1 in front of the x here. So negative 1 times 1 is a negative 1, or just negative x. Take away negative 1 times 3 is a negative 3. Now I have to abide by my third step here. Change signs in the middle if there's two signs. I have two signs. So if I have minus a negative, does that mean I'm going to add or subtract? Add. So I rewrite this as negative x plus 3. Final answer. Negative x plus 12. Again, it's a 1 in front. When there's nothing in front, there's that poor invisible 1. So negative 1 times negative 1 is just 1, so I can just write it as x, or 1x. Plus negative 1 times 12. What's negative 1 times 12? Negative 12. Now I have to abide by that last step, change the signs in the middle. I have two signs. So if I plus a negative, am I adding or subtracting? Subtracting. So I just rewrite it as x minus 12. Okay. Negative 4 times negative 3x plus 4. This one I don't have to add that 1. It's kind of a little on the easy side. So negative 4 times negative 3 is a positive 12x plus negative 4 times 4 is a negative 16. I have to abide by that last rule. If I plus a negative, am I adding or subtracting? Subtracting because they're different. And if I feel confused, I can look at my notes. If they're different signs in the middle, it means I subtract. So I rewrite this as 12x minus 16, and I am done. I can't combine them because they are not alike. Okay, negative x minus 3. I'm going to show a different strategy instead of putting the 1. If you don't want to put the 1, you can just change the sign. It's a property, the multiplication property of negative 1. If you want to change the sign, you just multiply by negative 1. So negative x is just going to turn into negative x minus a negative 3, or minus, a negative 3 is negative 3, turns into x plus 3. Now I just felt confused by myself there. So you've got to be feeling confused. I'm going to redo this one. You can do it, write it any way you want. I'm going to just put a 1 in front. Negative 1 times x is just negative 1x. Minus negative 1 times 3 is a negative 3. Simplify it, turns into negative x plus 3. There, I felt a little bit more at peace with my explanation there. Negative 3x minus 5. Put a 1. That's just negative 1. Negative 1 times negative 3 is a positive 3x minus negative 1 times 5 is a negative 5. Two signs in the middle, they're the same. Am I adding or subtracting?
Adding.
Adding. 3x plus 5. An application that we utilize with distribution is part of simplifying expressions. You combine like terms. Distribution is the most important thing. It like trumps everything on order of ops. So you want to make sure that if you need to distribute, you distribute first. So looking at this first example, I need to distribute that 4. Only to the things inside the parentheses it's sticking to. 4 times 2 is 8x, plus 4 times 3 is 12, plus a negative 2x. I'm not done because there's like terms. I have an x term here, and I have an x term here. 8x plus a negative 2, 8 plus negative 2 is 6x, plus all I have is one whole number. Now I'm done. It is not 18x. You do not combine them. They are not like terms. You only combine them if they both have the same variable. Oh man, another one with just a little negative sticking out. I'm going to just write a 1. This is negative 1. That looks really weird. It looks like a backwards T, sideways T. This is just negative 1 times all that. Negative 1 times 3 is a negative 3x minus negative 1 times 4 is a negative 4 minus 9. Negative 3x plus 4 minus 9. I said plus 4 because minus a negative is plus. Negative 3x, now this is plus a negative 9. 4 plus a negative 9 is negative 5. So I can just add that negative 5. I could leave it as is. Ideally, proper math etiquette would be to change that to negative 3x minus 5. Because I have the two different signs in the middle here. This is not simplified. You would never be given that option on a standardized test or on our test. An A, B, C, D would be one sign in the middle. Last one, a little bit more on the advanced side. First thing I do is distribute. You should notice that I'm only distributing the 3, not the 7. So now I'm going to write it 7 plus 3 times x is 3x minus, because there's a minus inside here, 3 times 2 is 6 plus 4x. And I'm just going to write this as plus a negative 3. And change this to plus a negative 6. I want all these pluses in there. I have a whole number first, so I'm going to start combining it with the others. 7 plus a negative 6, what am I at? 1. 1 plus a negative 3, what's 1 plus a negative 3? Negative 2. So I have negative 2 plus, now I'm going to go ahead and deal with my variables. 3x plus 4x is how many x's? 7. 7x. Negative 2 plus 7x. The math etiquette person says, hey, this isn't as pretty as it can be. Now I would accept that, you're good, it's okay. But as pretty as it can be would be 7x minus 2. Okay, because you always want the variable first. It makes math land happy, and I don't know why. Simplifying fractions. You think, hey, I know how to simplify. This is a little different. This gets us prepped up. 8th grade is all about graphing lines pretty soon, probably around November and stuff. We'll be getting into graphing lines. So we need to be confident with this. When you simplify fractions, what you do is separate each number on the top and put it over the bottom. You're going to separate each number on the top and put it over the bottom number. It gets fun. It really does. Second, lastly, you simplify if you need to. And you will see examples of that. Okay, now watch this magic. Now just watch me. Don't write anything down. I'm going to do this 2 times so you can watch me and then you can apply it. So, according to my steps, I need to first separate each number on the top and put it over the bottom. So I have an x and a 7 each turn. This turns into x over 8, each number on the top, there's one top number, plus 7 over 8. Done. Why did I do that? I don't know, just for fun. It does get, this all preps you up for graphing though, because it's going to show you a slope and a y-intercept. You don't know that yet, you will. That's the purpose here. We're trying to teach you to break some things up so we know how to graph a line. Okay? Again, x is on top, put it over the bottom. Plus, because there's a plus in the middle. 7 is on top, put it over the bottom. Going to do it again. This time you do it in your notes. X plus 7 over 8 is equal to an x on top, put it over the bottom. Plus, because there's a plus in the middle, 7 on top, put it over the bottom.
That's it?
That's it.
Wow.
Wow. It's it, but it's weird. Kids hate it, and I don't know why, but you love it. 3x plus 4 all over 5. Put the number on the top over the bottom. The first one is going to be, there's a 3x over the bottom. Plus, because there's a plus here, 4, that's the next number on top, put it over the bottom.
That's it.
That's it, because I can't simplify. It's not always going to be it, but that's it right now.
But if you multiply that, it's different.
Right, if you multiply, it's different. Okay, ooh, this next one's going to be a simplified one. You will see. You will see how it's different. Number 4x on top, put it over the bottom. Minus, because there's a minus sign here, the next number is 6, put it over the bottom. Now I can simplify. I look at this, what's 4 over 2?
1/2.
Just 2. 4 divided by 2 is 2. Throw the x out there, because I got this x. Minus, what's 6 over 2? 3. That is the most, typically this is what we will see in our homework. Otherwise we're just asking you to do something that makes no sense. These 2 examples, they didn't really help us much. What helps us is most of the time there's going to be some kind of simplification that you can utilize. And that is 1.7.